What is up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a doozy. We're going to start the bus build, which I've been excited to do, and to get cracking on it and show everybody what's going on. First thing I'm going to do though is open some windows in this piece, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you the grand tour and show you around the bus. This is basically untouched. The only thing I've done is trace a leak, and that's about it. So demo day starts today, and talk about adventure. So stick around, it's going to be a great time. Alright, I've got all the windows opened up, and it's cooled off a good bit in here. Be nice if it was a little bit cooler, but we're going to get started today because it's about, I think it's like 80 degrees today, and it's been like 90 and change. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the grand tour, and then I'm just going to start taking some seats out. That's the first step, so let's check the bus out. Alright, so we can zoom out a little bit here. This is my bus. We picked it up in Connecticut. It's a North Carolina bus. It was transported up here. It's a 1998 Thomas built. It's an international. You know, it's a mid-sized bus. It used to have a lift in it, as you can see based on the door. And then they removed the lift and installed some seats. So it's saves us a bit of trouble. We don't have to take a lift out. And we're going to be able to open this up real nice back here for what I assume will be the sleeping area in the back, like most folks do. So let's see, we got a few rows of seats, but not many, which was great because it fits in our driveway and is exactly what we wanted. So this is the only thing I've done so far, is pull this trim ring down to find the leak, because they did remove the hatches and they didn't do a great job sealing it up. It was pouring water in here after they had said it didn't have any leaks. So both hatches have been removed and sealed up, so I've got to address that. But overall, in good shape. We're going to start with the seats. They had a radio in here, and this is all mechanical. This bus is fantastic. I'm super happy I found it. So not a whole lot of bells and whistles, just a big old motor and some seats. So let's check out the outside. There is the outside. North Carolina bus, like I said. No rust. No real rust anyways. DT 466. She's in great shape. And most of the bulwark was done already in terms of painting it white. It's not the greatest paint job, rattle can job. I've got to redo that. But everything's operational. Signs are already removed. It's the perfect size for us. Big motor for a little bus. It's gonna be great. So let's take a look at the underside and show you what that looks like. See if we can see under here. This is the underbelly. No real rust of any note. Looking good. So we're gonna go ahead and get cracking. I'm gonna start pulling seats out. Got one bolt halfway out. Time for a break. I kid, folks. Sort of. I had to stop and put my contacts in because my glasses were sliding off my greasy face. So I had to go all Uncle Rico. I figured, while I'm at it, might as well make a sandwich. So this is kind of a bummer. Every one of these bolts underneath the floor pan has a nut on the other end of it. So I've got to get some help and have somebody underneath the bus. Basically, for every bolt that comes out of this floor, there's a nut underneath it. So I'm gonna have to wait until the boss gets home, and then she's gonna have to either crawl around under the bus. That'll probably be my job, or run the gun up here. So it's gonna be a coordinated effort. So even these ratchet bars or strap bars here have nuts on the other side of every single bolt. That's what I'm talking about here. A couple of them I got lucky, I was able to get them out. But these bad boys, all the seat bolts Everything minus, I think, the trim pieces. Has a nut on the other side underneath the bus. I'll show you. Alright. Fun. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So all the seats all the way up, and also these back panels, I'm gonna have to pull these panels down. There's some sort of access panels to get to the nuts on the other side of those strap bars, and there's another one. You can see that in there, right there. So there's a little bit of rust on the recovery hooks, but other than that, this is the rustiest spot, and it's all very much surface. Doesn't look like it over here, but I promise it is. So work to do. So these panels here are what just came off the underside, and they were basically access panels for the hoses for the rear heater. And I'll show you that here. So I just took the panels off, and you can see the coolant lines for that back heater. And honestly, based on the way they're just kind of tossed up there, I don't know if they were removed or added at some point, but they don't look very, so I'll have some work to do. I'll keep them and put them back up, but you can see all the little nuts for every one of those bolts. So front's all cleaned out. Took all that home entertainment stuff out. Speakers, wires down. It's dirty under there, obviously. We're gonna hit it with a sweep. They have a 1,000-watt inverter that's wired to the bus. I was getting ready to yank that out. I decided to leave it for the time being. Either way, we're gonna keep it. But we got all the junk out for the most part. Speakers down, wires down, and since, like I said, I can't do the seats yet, but we're just giving her a good clean out, pulling out unnecessary wires and garbage, whatever you want to call it, until I can get these seats out of here. Yummy bodily fluid cleanup kit. Ooh. Santa Claus just paid me a visit. The neighbor saw me struggling and dropped off some cordless impact products from Snap-on. Thank you, man. So we're gonna get back to work. The boss is home. She's gonna have to help me with this. I'll probably be the one crawling around on the ground, and she can stay up at the top. And we'll get all these seats out. Hopefully everything comes out easy peasy. Not likely, but hopefully. Fingers crossed. Well, it's going well. The impacts are helping. We've got minimal rust underneath, so it's helpful. So it's not too bad. So pretty much I'm crawling around on the creeper underneath the bus, and Joy's up top. Now we're just doing some coordination, and she's holding them with a ratchet, and I'm breaking the nuts loose, and good to go. Everything's coming out, so hopefully it continues that way. Fingers crossed. All right, everybody, it is the next day. We were making some progress on the bus. Got a lot of the seats out, and our neighbors came over and said, hey, take a break and have a beer. And I didn't want to be rude, so I did. And then I did it again. So that ended our evening, but this is where we're at right now. So day 2, and we're doing well. Most of the seats are out. You can see our pile over here. This is all the stuff, wires and all kinds of junk that was in there. But even these are all unbolted underneath. I've just simply got to hit the inside edge right here, and all those will come out. Then we will have all the seats out minus the front dividers. Those are going to be a pain in the ass. That one is we're not really able to get to the bolts because the fuel tank is up there forward of the wheel, and it's hard to get up in there to get the bolts out. So that's going to be a pain. I may have to cut the heads off the bolts and take that divider out that way. That one up there I may be able to get to, but all these seats are already unbolted right here, and we just have to take them off that chair rail, and then we'll be good to go. I do think we've been pretty fortunate with how they were coming out. I know a lot of people are not that lucky, so if you're seeing this video and for some reason mine is the first bus video you've ever seen, more than likely it's not going to go that easily for you. We've been lucky because of the fact that, like I said, it was a North Carolina bus and mostly rust free. So I was crawling around in the creeper underneath, as you saw, and was able to hold the nuts and hold my nuts. Sorry, I can't even help it. And Joy was able to break them loose up top. So it worked out well. But we're almost done. And when we do, I'll get it all swept out. I'll show you what she looks like. Show you what we got here. All kinds of tasty morsels we've been finding. Alright kids, the seats are out, and like I said, it went pretty well. I'm very fortunate to have found this bus, and we're able to get all these seats out and not have to do anything crazy to get them out. A lot of people were, you know, you've seen them having to cut the heads off of bolts, cut the bus legs, the bus seat legs, and all sorts of stuff, but we got lucky. They're all out, and I can move on. I've got to get these dividers out. Show you here. So these front dividers need to come out. This one here, this is where the fuel tank is. That's the access for the sending unit for the top of the tank. So I can't get to these bolts without removing the tank, and obviously we're not going to do that. So I may have to cut the heads off of those bolts. These I'm unsure of. I have to get under there and check, but that's it. They are all out. I can start the rest of the demo now. Progress report. So we got all the seats out, and I want to show you something that I learned, and maybe it will help somebody and save somebody some trouble. So when it came to taking those dividers out, I was telling everybody I may have to cut the heads off the bolts, and we didn't have to do that. I was able to get them off from top side here, and it was pretty helpful to do it this way. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. I got these bars out doing the same thing. So basically took a pry bar, and because we didn't have any real rust under there, I was able to put a good amount of upward pressure on the bolts, and then spin them free with the impact. So this kept the nut on the bottom end from spinning because there was enough pressure on it, and I was able to drive the bolt out. And that is how I removed these, which I am super pumped about. I did not have to cut the heads off of these bad boys. So all the chairs are out. The strap bars, that's what I'm going to call them, because I don't know what the technical term for them is. Sorry, poor lighting in here. Those are out. I'm quite grimy again, but I think there's going to be a lot of that to come. So all that stuff's out. I got to clean up in here. We're going to take all these nuts and bolts that I have lying all over the place. We're going to bag them up and we're going to save them because there's a good chance we could end up reusing them for something. So we're going to keep those, keep these strap bars, maybe as part of the rooftop deck, or, you know, even just in here. Maybe hang a hammock or something. And all these nuts and bolts and brackets, we're going to save them because you never know. So that's it. So I'm going to clean this bad boy up and sweep it out. See what it looks like. That's it. She's all cleaned out. Seats are out, dividers are out, and we got a good sweep going. So now I'm gonna start on the rest of the demo, and based on the way things overlap, I know most folks hit the floor first, so I'll probably take the metal trim pieces off the floor and then start working on that, and then move up, do my walls, and then these caps here, these caps will come off, and then I'll be able to pull the ceiling panels down. So metal trim, and then all the stuff around it, get that rubber off the floor, hit all this stuff, caps, and then pull the ceiling down. So this is still day 2, and we're moving along. So I'm pretty excited about how it's turning out so far. Not, you know, finished product wise, but just how the job is going. So all right, back to work. It's kind of hot in these rhinos. It's an Ace Ventura reference for all you youngins out there. All right, so we've got the chairs out. I did a sweep. I started pulling this trim out, and everything's coming out for the most part fairly easily. But I took the heating system out, the ducts for the rear heat, and I'm going to hang on to those because I'm probably going to try to keep the rear heat in the bus and keep everything the way that it is. But I'll show you what we've got so far. So we've got all the trim pieces out. This is all the duct work. Just, you know, a few pieces. It runs from the box over here, which has a fan in it, and then the front duct work blows out. But then you can see these coolant lines. They run all the way to the back, go under the bus, and then come up to the fan over here. So we're going to leave all that in place. The bed's probably going to go back here, so having a heater under the bed might be nice. I'll put a little deflector in so the air comes out. But I wanted to take these off, and I'm glad I did, because my God, is this thing has years and years of dirt in it. So we are going to take the remaining trim off the other side. I'll probably have to unbolt the heater back there, and then we can start taking all this floor up and clean the floor. I've got to take the sides down all that stuff. So we've still got plenty of work to do, but moving along. Like I said, this is still day 2, and I don't really know how long it's going to take me. I don't have any specific you know, time requirements or constraints, if you will, so we're going to see how long it takes. But it takes, you know, however long it takes, and we're not in a hurry. So all right, I'm going to get back to work, pulling off this metal trim, and hopefully then the subfloor, this rubber floor stuff, will come up pretty easily. So we'll check back in with you in a few. Alright everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I don't want the video to be too long, so we are going to call this one good. So this is 2 days of demo. Jesus, this is awful. 2 days of demo, and we've got all the seats out, all the floor is out, all the trim pieces out, nice and clean in here for the most part. The next part will be the walls and the ceiling, and I'm gonna stick that in a different video because I don't want to make them too long, like I said. So you've seen how the demo went thus far, and keep it short and sweet, and hopefully give you some ideas, on how to take yours apart. So what I'm going to do now is just give you the quick tour, show you what it looks like presently and why we chose this bus, and then I will say goodbye. So let's check it out. That bottom step though, we got no rust. Little teeny bits of very much surface stuff. We're down to the metal in here. Only rust spot we have is right there. And it's all fairly flaky and surface. There are no holes, and it's pretty rock solid. I'm 100% confident that the wire brush, or the wire wheel rather, and the chassis saver will take care of that. So that's it. This is where we're at. It's our access for the tank. I'm going to deal with the cockpit area, I think, when I'm ready to do the insulation and the chassis saver rust converter stuff. So if you enjoyed the video, sorry, it's so hot in here. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about anything I did or used, or suggestions even, don't be afraid to drop those in the comments below. We appreciate you guys hanging out and watching the video. Like I said, this is more of a come along for the journey type of a thing than it is I'm going to show you how to convert a bus, because this is obviously, well, it's not obvious. This is our first one, so we're just documenting the process versus showing you, hey, this is how you do that. So if that's what you're looking for, it's probably the wrong place, but you might get some ideas, and who knows, maybe it'll be entertaining along the way. So that's it. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for hanging out and watching the video. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.